Hi, today I'm going to show you how I paint a Northern Pike replica. This is a really nice looking blank, another one from Lake Country Replicas, and this is part 2 in a series. Part 1 I showed you how I assemble this blank, and today we're going to paint it up. I start with an antiquing process in which I black out my entire fish. Instead of using straight black, I prefer to use a mix of brown and blue, which is not nearly as harsh. That's just my preference. So here we go. Now for this step I like to use lacquer paints simply because it dries much faster and I can go right into the steel wooling. All my other paints will be water-based acrylics. Now I go over the entire fish with steel wool. Next I blow off my fish to get rid of all the excess steel wool. Next I darken up the back just slightly. Not so much that covers up the detail, but just gives it a darker tone on the back. And then we lighten up the belly the same way with white. Next I lighten up the belly the same way. Just lightly so you can still see the scale details showing through. Just to kind of set the tone of light and dark between the belly and the back. Then I spray the underside of my fish with a chrome pearl, avoiding the fins. Then I go over the entire back of my fish with a gold pearl. These are just my base coats, and I start pretty much all of my fish the same way. Now it's when I start laying out my spot pattern. I lower my air pressure. I got it to about 20 psi, and I bring out my detail airbrush. I just use an ivory white and start laying out the pattern. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to have good reference and learn how to interpret the reference. This is what I'm using today to paint this fish. What we want to do is just make these markings random. Some bigger, some smaller. Again, reference, reference, reference. You just take your time. This is really the fun part of painting a fish. Step back every once in a while, take a look at how it's going. As you get towards the back, the spots become less and less intense. And sometimes I go over what I've already done to keep things uniform, the intensity of the spots. Now we start adding some color. The colors used are based on your reference. I'm going to start out with little yellow ochre on the bottom half of the fish and on all the fins. Then I want to add a little yellow ochre to the fins. Then we're going to take a little green, go over the back of the fish, blend into the side a little bit. Just a little bit on the base of the fins. And just a little black-brown mix on the back. Not too heavy of a coat. I can still see scale detail when I'm done. And then I'm going to put a little barring pattern on the back that I happen to notice on my reference. All very subtle. Next, I'm going to come in with some orange for the trailing edge of the fins. And just a little hint of red on the very trailing edge. Now it's time to detail our fins. I switched to my detail airbrush and I use a black-brown mix. And watch your reference picture closely, and we just start laying out the patterns we see. Then I'm going to mist a coat of gold pearl along the back. Just a hint. Now at this point, the fish could almost be considered done. However, this is a good time to put in your own personal touches. Things I like to do is come in with a little yellow ochre and a little sienna and give it fine detail work. I do the vent, I do around the eye, and a little work on the face. Totally optional at this point. And I like to use a little sienna. Highlight the teeth inside the mouth. Little ring around the eye. Try to be subtle. And maybe just a little mist under the jaw. Give it a little color. And just a little black around to blend in the eye. One last optional thing I like to do is a little scale tipping with gold powders along the back, where I just hit the tips of the scales. It'll probably take me 20 minutes, half hour to do this, but I think the results are well worth it. Pretty the fish up just a little bit. Plus most fish, if you look at it right in the light, has this. So I think it's worth doing. Now we just look our fish over, take care of any overspray there might be. And then we spray our whole fish with clear lacquer. This will seal everything up so it's ready for its final gloss coat. And the last step is giving the whole fish a final coat of gloss. I prefer a two-part automotive gloss for this. And what I do is give it a quick, light tack coat, and then let that set up about 10 minutes, and then come in and give it a final, heavier coat. Now we give the whole fish a final, heavier coat. And there is the finished product. Certainly hope you learned something from this video. And please consider supporting this channel in any way you can if you would like to see future videos from me. Thank you.